I'm here today, unfortunately, to speak with you in what are, I guess, unfortunate circumstances. Instead of celebrating the Olympic Games and the occasion of the Olympic Games, we're here discussing what appear to be, frankly, unacceptable shortcomings of ethics on the part of some individuals representing our country. Look, I want to speak directly about this issue and speak directly to the people it's affecting. First, to our players, my heart goes out to you. I feel deeply for our players who are engaged in, what is supposed to be a lifetime highlight of being an Olympian, of representing Canada and competing for a gold medal. I'm here in France, in the hotel on the ground with our players, and I've been in constant contact and communication with them throughout. And my experiences with the players over the last couple of days, reinforced to me what I've known to be true before, which is that they are, frankly, they're champions and true professionals, and they're focused on the task at hand. Canada Soccer President Peter Aguirre and I met with our team this morning to discuss the matter with them and express our continued availability and our continued support to our team. Look, we admire deeply the will and determination of this group. The players themselves have not been involved in any unethical behavior. And frankly, we ask FIFA to take that into consideration if contemplating any further sanctions. Specifically, we do not feel that a deduction of points in this tournament would be fair to our players, particularly in light of the significant and immediate steps we've taken to address this situation. Secondly, I want to address the soccer community in Canada and supporters of Canada Soccer. I know that you expect and deserve better from us, your federation, as we represent you on the international stage. Whether you support Canada Soccer as a staff member, a member of our association, a community club, a sponsor and partner, or a philanthropist, I personally understand that you're disappointed in what's transpired here. Look, myself and Peter are both new. We're working to make Canada Soccer a federation that you all are proud of. And at the moment, we are trying to directly address what appears like it could be, a systemic ethical shortcoming in a way that's, frankly, unfortunately painful right now, but is turning out to be a necessary part of the rehabilitation process. And third, to Canadians, it's clear that you've been let down in this instance. Competing within the rules is obviously a fundamental expectation that's held by Canadians, and that standard has not been met here. In my 4 months involved in global football, I'm new to global football, as you all know, and in my 4 months in the sport, one of the biggest takeaways I have is that I guess, to the extent to which it's part of the culture globally to employ tactics that might be in the ethical gray area in order to gain an edge. I've seen in 4 months, I've seen quite a lot of this. But despite this global context, I want to make something very, very clear. Behavior in the ethical gray area is completely unacceptable to Canadians. It's completely unacceptable to Canada Soccer and our organization, and frankly, to me personally, it's completely unacceptable as the leader of the organization. I'm hopeful that with the decision that we made last night, that following the press conference today, we can move forward and allow the focus to be on the players and the competition for the remainder of the Olympics at least, and so that the players have their opportunity to really be focused on the competition during the time of the Olympic Games. I do want to make some comments about last night's specific decision to suspend our head coach pending the outcome of our previously announced independent review. As part of the steps that we were taking to prepare for the prepare for this review, yesterday evening, I received new internal information from internal sources that gave me reason to think further about the potential that this type of behavior was, systemic. So then I consulted with a number of people, including our colleagues at the COC and with Peter. And while we are certainly reserving judgment until the conclusion of our review, the concrete information I received yesterday made me consider the possibility, at least, that this matter is much more extensive. So we decided to take steps to ensure that our team would be able to compete in this tournament without any potential questions after the fact about their achievement, or at least to minimize those questions about that come after the fact about their achievement. Again, the players have not been involved in any unethical behavior themselves, and we're trying to separate that from their opportunity to compete. As I settle into this new role, the more I learn about this specific matter, the more concerned I get about a potential long-term and, deeply embedded systemic culture of this type of thing occurring, which is obviously completely unacceptable. I'm continuing to receive anecdotes about events that have occurred in the past, the potential that, certain individuals may have had on the culture of this type of thing occurring. Make no mistake, there's absolutely no room for this kind of conduct occurring in Canadian sports at large, and specifically at Canada Soccer. And as we proceed with our independent review, I'm sure that we'll be able to substantiate or explore some of the anecdotes that I'm being made aware of in order to substantiate whether they are true or not, and get to the bottom of the extent of this issue, and then take appropriate action from there. After those comments, I'm prepared to take questions. I'm hopeful to be able to answer them as fully as possible. As we move forward with our independent review, I'm sure that subsequent to that, I'll have a lot more details about the situation, but I look forward to your questions and answering them as fully as possible as I can right now.
Thanks, Kev. We'll start with Neil Davidson, please.
Thanks, Paolo.
And sorry, Neil, one more thing. Just because this is an international audience, can you just please let us know what outlet you're asking or working for, please?
Sure, Paolo. Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press. Kevin, have you seen in your research, have you found any examples of similar behavior, i.e. cheating, with the men's team?
So I've been receiving a lot of anecdotal feedback about the history of the issue as it relates to the both programs. As it relates to the current situation on the men's team, I'm aware of an instance of attempted drone usage during Copa America. My current understanding is that the fact pattern of that instance is significantly different than what occurred here, especially as it relates to the potential impact on competitive integrity. But, however, we're doing a review to specifically obtain a full understanding of these situations and what others may exist. I have spoken with our current head coach about the incident after it occurred, and I know that he has denounced it as a practice to his staff. That's what I can report to you now. Of course, there's going to be significant thorough review as we proceed with the investigation.
I can just do a quick follow-up then. Did your men's and women's coaches know that this cheating was happening?
I don't know the answer to that in full, and I think that we will have more clarity on that upon conclusion of the review.
Have you not asked them?
yeah, we've discussed it, and of course, the answers that come back are, of course not, right? And you know, but that has to be substantiated with further investigation. And you know, and as it relates to the situation and the history of this situation, um, you know, there are allegations of this going back several years, you know, far preceding myself, far preceding our current head coach on the men's side, and preceding our head coach on the women's side. So, you know, there has to be obviously some more thorough understanding of like of the matter through a formal investigatory and review process.
Right. Thank you. Bruce Arthur.
Kevin, thanks for this. Bruce Arthur, Toronto Star. When you say that the players, definitively that the players have not engaged in any unethical behavior, what are your parameters for what constitutes unethical behavior? Does that include viewing film that was stolen from other teams' practices, and therefore presumably an awareness that that film was stolen? And if so, how can you be sure that that didn't happen, I guess?
Well, to clarify what I said earlier, I can tell you that this group of players at the Olympic Games right now has not engaged in any unethical behavior.
Do you mean at these Olympic Games?
That's correct. I can't definitively say that players throughout the course of when this is alleged to happen haven't seen one type of footage or another, of course, right? Like I don't know the answer to that. That's a you know, a more significant period of time. But to clarify my comment, the team that we were talking about, which is the current team at the Olympic Games, players have not engaged in unethical behavior. The players are focused on the task at hand. The players are very disappointed with sort of the circumstances, of course, but you know, they're doing their best to continue focusing on their opportunities.
So are we saying that they did not view the footage that was collected by Joey Lombardi?
That's what, yes, I
Yeah.
am saying that, but again, that this is all happening in real time, but I am stating right now that this team has not seen the any of the footage.
To your
Okay,
knowledge?
Thank you. Hey, thanks.
Correct.
John Molinaro.
Thanks, Paulo. John Molinaro from Sportsnet and TFC Republic. Kevin, can you speak to the future of Bev Priestman? I know she's not going to be coaching for the rest of the Olympics, but beyond that, will she remain as coach of the Canadian women's team? And is there a timeline as to, you know, when a decision might be made with regards to her future?
I don't have a specific answer to the question other than, you know, she's at the moment suspended pending the outcome of our review of this matter entirely. And upon conclusion of that review and upon gathering more information from that review, there will be additional opportunity to see what steps additionally need to be taken, if any.
Sorry, and do you have a timeline as to how long that review will take?
I don't have a specific one right now. I've been in touch with a number of people and entities that we are trying to assess to be able to sort of formally execute and move forward with this. Our intent is to move forward as soon as possible. Our intent is to move without undue delay, obviously, but of course, this is an issue that requires thorough and appropriate analysis and frankly, like an appropriately detailed review. So, you know, the spirit of this is to move as quickly as we possibly can to get to the bottom of all of this as quickly as we possibly can. But I don't foresee us cutting corners. We need to get the facts correct.
Awesome. Gavin, please. Gavin Cooney.
Hi there. Hey, Gavin Cooney from the 42 in Ireland. I'm an accredited journalist here in Paris. Thank you very much for your press briefing and your invitation. Kevin, did the Canada women's team use a drone to spy on the Republic of Ireland ahead of the Women's World Cup game last year? And if so, is that result and achievement now discredited?
I don't know the answer to that definitively. And again, this is the reason why we're looking at this issue and the history of it holistically through our independent review.
But I suppose, given the revelations that we've read about since the TSN story last night, it's a possibility.
Yeah, to the extent that the reporting in that TSN story is accurate, certainly is a possibility. I would state that, you know, I'm not interpreting everything that's reported in the press as fact on this issue until we are able to substantiate it through the formal and professionally, you know, operated review process that will take place. Certainly what was reported is, again, if accurate, alarming, and indication of a significant problem. But it's our responsibility to make sure to pursue what's reported in there, in addition to other information to substantiate specifically what actually happened.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. John, do you mind putting your hand down, please? Just so. Thanks. Shireen? Hey, Shireen? You're on mute, Shireen.
Oh. Hi, Shireen Ahmed, CBC Sports. Thanks, Kevin, for this. Have any of the players that you've spoken with admitted any type of interest in leaving the program as a result of this news? And I have a follow-up as well.
No.
And for the if for the remainder of the tournament, is it fair to say Andy Spence will be continuing on as, and then for the foreseeable future will be interim manager, or was Andy Spence also implicated in any of this wrongdoing?
Andy is the manager for the remainder of the tournament, and once we're finished the tournament, you know, we'll see what happens next. I don't know the answer to that question. The only thing I know is Andy will manage the team through the remainder of this tournament.
Really quickly, as a follow-up to the follow-up, sorry. There's been some discussion, and the word is clean house. Is that something that you're contemplating with Peter?
We are contemplating getting to the bottom of this circumstance in a professional and thorough way, and then we will make decisions on what to do about it once we have information that we know is substantiated.
Thanks, Shireen.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Next, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who this is, but M. Huron.
Sorry, it's May Huron here from Television New Zealand. Just a question about what conversations you've had with New Zealand football. Have you made a direct plea with them in regards to obviously their bid to make sure Canada gets no points from that first game? And just second question about, given the issues are so systemic, how confident are you that the current coaching staff in Canada haven't been involved in these unethical behaviour?
Okay, that's two questions. I'll try to answer them in order. Our president, Peter Agruso, has been in touch with his counterpart at New Zealand. The second question, remind me of the second question, please.
Sorry, just tell me a bit more about those conversations. Like how have they taken place? What has been said?
Well, he reached out to communicate with her given the situation. But I wasn't part of the conversations. I myself personally was more focused internally on our circumstance.
And then the second question was, how confident are you that the current staffing coaching team haven't been involved in those unethical behavior?
So look, the coaching staff that have been suspended are suspended pending the results of us learning and substantiating more facts. And I would offer, however, the observation that one of the things that we will be trying to understand and assess as part of this review is the culture of this and how the culture of this is shaped based on the leadership that's in these programs, right? And I think that understanding the dynamic of that and understanding the influence and significance of the head coach role versus other roles in the situation is, I think, a key part of our understanding. That's what I would offer on this. Of course, we need to do the review to fully appreciate the dynamics in play.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to Christine. Christine, I understand you're on the ground, so I want to respect the fact that you're in person there. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Christine Roger, CBC, Radio-Canada. I'm sorry for bringing back this question, but about Andy Spence, do you know if he knew or not about this whole drone? And if you don't know, why, like in a Canada, why is he allowed to stay around the team and the Twitter are gone? So what makes you confident that he can stay around the team and it's not going to affect their tournament there?
I don't believe Andy had awareness of the issue. And that's how I'll answer the question.
Any other questions, Christine?
Yeah. Do you see that for what you know, do you think there's still a chance that the whole team might be sanctioned, might get lose some points for the win they got yesterday, or anything else?
I don't know the answer to that definitively, but I don't believe they deserve to lose points. Again, that would be penalizing the players who, as I discussed earlier, the players themselves have not been involved in unethical behavior. And I think that the swift and significant actions that we have taken to address this issue hopefully can persuade FIFA that we're treating it with the seriousness that it deserves, and that the players ought not to be penalized in this specific situation. Again, considering they themselves have not been involved in unethical behavior.
Okay. Anything else, Christine? No. Okay. Merci. Megan?
No, that's fine. Merci.
Okay. Merci. Megan, go ahead.
Hey there, Meg Linehan from The Athletic. Just in terms of John Herdman's involvement, both on the men's and women's side, I know most of that predates your tenure, but are you able to involve him in this investigation of drone usage throughout the years?
I don't know the specific answer, like from a mechanical perspective on the extent to which he will be directly involved. I do expect that the scope of our review will include, as we said the other day, an attempt to understand the history of the issue, and to the extent that involves, our previous employees or previous coaching staff, then certainly there will be that will be part of it as we try to understand the totality of the issue.
Megan, any
Thank you.
follow-up?
No, all set.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Let's go to Josh, please.
Hey, Joshua Cloak at The Athletic. Kevin, you mentioned Copa America. What did you learn about attempted drone usage at Copa America specifically?
I learned that there was an incident. I learned that, again, the fact pattern in that specific incident is different, as far as I understand it today, from what has occurred here, in the sense that the apparent impact on the competitive integrity of or the potential impact, I should say, on the competitive integrity of a match was not at risk in that incident. I will learn more about the totality of this as we dig into it through the formal process.
Was Jesse Marsh aware of drone usage?
He was aware of it after the fact, at a minimum. And again, through the process here, we're going to have further analysis and review about the extent of everybody's knowledge of it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Josh. Rick?
Hi, Kevin. Rick Westhead from TSN. New Zealand says that Canada shouldn't receive any points for its win. You say that Canada should. Can you say definitively that none of the intelligence gained from either of the videos, drone videos, were used in game preparation?
Yes, as I sit here today, yes, that's the information that I have.
Are you aware historically of any national team players on either men's or women's team being offered the opportunity to review to review drone footage of closed practices and declining?
I'm not aware, and again, Rick, you'll have to forgive me, this issue is newly trying to find the right language. I am newly appreciating the apparent depth and extent of this issue, apparent depth and extent of it. And as a result, I don't have like an extensive understanding of how previous players in previous eras, under previous coaching staffs, may have interacted or not with some of the information.
Your mandate, Kevin, finally, your mandate is to try to help raise money for a federation that desperately needs it. How much harder does this make your job of connecting with potential donors?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I guess I will find out.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Andrew Jones, please.
Thank you very much. Andrew Jones from NBC Olympics. For you, Kevin, you and David both talked to Bev earlier this week. Do you feel that she was fully forthright in the conversations with you and David now after having her be suspended for the rest of the Olympics?
The conversation that we had was credible. In my, I'll speak for myself. In my view, at the time, certainly, the continued credibility of that will be explored as we learn more about the circumstance. Again, as we can dig into it in a lot more detail.
And just real quick, in terms of Jesse being aware of it after the fact, how was his reaction towards learning about just any footage during Copa America now?
Yeah, I mean, he explained to me that he denounced it immediately and forcefully, and has communicated that to his staff, both the existing staff and staff that were, from previous coaching staffs that are still with us. And as mentioned earlier, as we get into this review process, we'll have a better understanding of the specifics and the details around that.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Scott Russell.
Hey, Kevin, it's Scott Russell of CBC. We're here in Paris, and we're going to open up the Olympic Games tonight. Listen, as you can appreciate, this situation has cast a shadow over the entire Canadian Olympic team here in Paris on the day of the opening ceremony. It has totally distracted Canadians back home. It has become the only story about Canadian athletes at Paris 2024 so far. I'm wondering, in light of all this, have you considered withdrawing the team? The integrity of the tournament has obviously been compromised. Canadians have compromised the integrity of the tournament, and this reflects poorly on the entire Canadian Olympic team. Have you considered withdrawing this team from the tournament and forfeiting?
I've deeply considered and thought about the implications of this issue for the Canadian delegation. I've deeply considered and feel, frankly, very disappointed and frustrated about the distraction that it has created. But I have not considered withdrawal of the team, again, primarily because we feel like we have addressed the situation swiftly and significantly, and it would be to the detriment of our players who have worked so hard and sacrificed quite a bit to be Olympians, and themselves have not engaged in unethical behavior. And I will not consider us withdrawing on the basis of the fact that, we support our players as Olympians and their right to be here and their right to compete.
Scott, any follow-up?
No, thank you, Kevin.
Okay. Everyone, thank you so much again for joining. I know it was short notice, not something we are going to be holding ourselves to that standard. So I appreciate everybody coming on quickly. Thank you very much and have a great day.